What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing Podcast with Indeb, where I'm your host, and I am excited to chop it up with you today. To today's episode, I'm excited because I got my marketing homies, Ray and Jay, with me. What's up, y'all?
What's going
Hello.
on?
It was like, hey, they were like,
I'm afraid to talk. I'm going to get canceled today, Nathan. I'm getting canceled today. It's official.
Nah. Look, so obviously today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So for the housekeeping, of course, for those that would love to leave a review, thank you. For if you're our first-time listeners, thank you for tuning into our show. Hopefully you love it. There will be a sliver of marketing in there and business and leadership. We're going to talk about that as well. If you're returning listeners, thank you again for always rocking the show, sharing your reviews, your ratings. We appreciate you as we are in the middle of the first month of 2024. And when it comes to MLK Day, we are actually recording this in December, just FYI. So it has not happened yet, and we know between now and then there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be popping off, especially in this regard. So in that way, I have no other, way to go into this topic, but let me just make sure I have my manners and have my guests introduce themselves. So I will start alphabetically with Mr. J. Jay, please tell the folks who you are and what you do, my man.
My name is Jay Rithell. I run a paid social company called Yamaro 83. I focus on Facebook and LinkedIn advertising, a little bit of TikTok as well. My main goal is to try to help you, grow your business through paid social. That's my quick one.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. Miss Ray.
And I am Ray, the other half of this duo that pops in from time to time. I own Gray Digital Marketing. We are a branding agency that specifically helps coaches and consultants rebrand in 1 to 3 business days. So happy to be here. Don't hold anything against us.
Yes. No. All right, let me paint this right, y'all, because as you know, and for the ones I don't know, let me school you real quick. This is not scripted. We talk about maybe a specific topic, or not. We don't talk about. We brainstorm about specific topics about what we will talk about, and we try to leave it all on the show because we keep it as real, 100, without it going wrong. Because we are going to be respectful, and we are marketing experts in our own way, and we see things through a different lens than most people. And so in this lens, the question I asked them a couple of weeks ago, what do you want to do? Because it's our time, the time that this show will air, it will be it will be when it comes to sorry, even though I put it myself on Do Not Disturb, it's going off right now. And so now I need to change my Do Not Disturb because that should not be going through. So with that being said, right? Yeah. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about distractions all over the place as we get into the meat and potatoes. So I asked them, what do you want to talk about, since our podcast is gonna drop on MLK Day? So do we just be agnostic and ignore it and talk about other marketing? Because we can talk about other news and events, but at the same time, I think what did it for me, y'all, because this was the straw that broke my camel's back, was I watched the episode yesterday of a show, 227, as I like watching my 227 that night. And that's one of my old school shows. If it was a MLK special. And then this week I've been asked to speak for MLK Day. And I was like, ooh, I don't have a deck ready for MLK. So I was like, yeah, I think I want to talk about MLK Day. What are your thoughts about MLK Day?
Oh, you asking one of us? Oh, okay.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh well, I guess I'll go. I'll put my stance as this. This is MLK Day is not for Black people. It hasn't been for a very long time.
Was it
Mm,
It
ever?
just isn't.
mm-hmm,
It's a very maybe a long time ago, but it's a very whitewash holiday. This is kind of speaking from I did a lot of DEI work uh, back in Minneapolis.
mm-hmm,
So diversity, equity, inclusion. If people doesn't know what that means. Basically, trying to bring people into the fold and see, put them at the table, things like that. And I worked for AmeriCorps. This was kind of this like brought the camels back for me. I worked for AmeriCorps. Basically, you work in underserved communities as like marketing communications associate. When I did organic, by the way, you two, that was the one only time I did organic. Like never again.
mm,
But it was AmeriCorps, and they're all about MLK and all that stuff. And then for our MLK volunteer, like our big volunteer thing, we went to a Salvation Army and like folded clothes. And I was like, what in the are we doing here?
mm,
And they had all the right signs. They said all the right words. It was very fluff. Oh, MLK days for all of us, blah, 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 blah. Me sitting there folding clothes, I was like, mumbling under my breath. And like, it just kind of built up after a while. And I actually left early. Like, I can't handle this. And what I found out between that and other things in Minneapolis, we all know George Floyd, all that stuff, Philando
mm-hmm,
Castile, a lot of black people get shot in Minneapolis. A lot of black men get shot in Minneapolis. So it's very prevalent there, the racial divide. So when I
mm,
see a bunch of folks say MLK Day and they have these parades and all that stuff, there's not a lot of black people at these parades. From what I've seen there,
mm,
it's a lot of white folks. All about them.
mm-hmm,
But don't you dare bring up the word Malcolm X, and people lose their minds. And the
mm,
way they treat the two, which if you really understand the history, the,
mm-hmm,
the closer to their deaths, they were more and more alike than people realize. They were on
mm-hmm.
the same level. So I don't really like MLK Day. I haven't celebrated for a while, and every time I see the little organic post Happy MLK Day, it's just as flat as a Happy Veterans Day to me. There's no tension behind it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just fluff. That's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Jay, for that knee jerk response of the reaction and your thoughts on it. I appreciate that. And no cursing, which is very surprising. So thank you. Ray, your turn.
Well, let's see. MLK Day. I have lots to say about MLK Day.
Mm,
First,
mm-hmm,
MLK died either right before my mom was born or right after, which means that wasn't that long ago.
mm,
Now, MLK Day
mm,
didn't even start until 1986. In other words, MLK Day is only 4 years older than me. And I
mm.
have
You
yet to
disclose
ever
your age.
actually have a, yeah, think about that. And yes, you guys can all do that math. I'm not that old. I don't care. It is, it has never been impactful. It
Mm,
has never,
mm,
ever been impactful. And it's been shoved down my throat since elementary school. It makes no sense. It's the day where every kid looks at you weird in the classroom because you're one of the only
mm,
black kids in the classroom.
mm,
Um, it didn't exist for my parents. So it's a very silly day where I get to watch the internet from a marketing perspective post quotes from I Have a Dream, a speech they
mm,
probably couldn't tell you what was in the third or fourth paragraph of that speech beyond one day white kids and colored kids will hold hands. Like there's no substance there. It's a check
mm,
the box day for companies to
mm-hmm.
say, look, we support racial diversity. No, you don't, or we would have seen systemic change since then. So thank you for your performative actions. We still don't appreciate it. And I think that it's a farce. I don't
Mm,
understand its point or purpose. To Jay's point, there was Malcolm X. There's so many other leaders that there's names people don't even know. Like I'm pretty sure if I said Josephine Baker, people wouldn't even know who that was. Um, and she's before MLK and Malcolm X's time, but like she would have been one of your starting lead ups to that point. You
Mm-hmm.
have so many other folks who you could quote, even from modern day, and nobody actually shares what it is that they've done to renew and keep that legacy alive, other than here's a picture of the Martin Luther King statue in DC and I have a dream, or a picture from I have a dream, or a picture from the Nashville, Tennessee motel where he was murdered with a wreath on it. Like, sorry, not sorry, stop. It's literally, you're probably listening to this and you've already done it. Just go and delete it because it's
Mm.
disingenuous and it's quite gross. And he wasn't even like the best of people either, if we want to dig even a little deeper. So um
Mm.
enjoy your day
You talking about?
off and
Sorry, go ahead.
knock it off. Okay, the end.
Mm. So I was gonna ask, and you're talking about MLK. He wasn't the best of people, as you're saying that correctly. Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yes,
So this
that is
is
what I'm saying.
yeah. So I want to bring it
Most leaders
back.
aren't.
Right. Right.
Like,
Look.
but you think about most leaders, like they have their good points, but
Right.
it's it takes a special type of person to be a leader. That person
Hmm.
ain't perfect. Black,
Oh,
white, blue,
absolutely not.
green. They gonna have some faults.
Purple.
Uh, all of them. They can do a lot of good, but personally, like, you can have a D bag. It is what it is. Like it's a unique person, so they're gonna have the flaws.
Right.
As long as you accept that and don't just wash over it, like, oh, they're perfect. No, no one's
Hmm.
perfect. My wife reminds me all the time. So, and you know what? It's funny. I've been to that museum in the MLK Museum in Nashville. I don't know if you two been there.
No.
Like, this museum is like beautiful. You tell they spent millions of dollars on this thing. It's like one of the best museums I've ever been to, which I always thought was weird.
Mm.
And I went to the museum in the African American History Museum in DC. If you've been
Mm.
there,
It was being
the
built when
museum
I
of
was there
DC, the
last.
museum of DC, they're huge. Like this huge African American museum in DC. And I bring this up, and it contrasts how America treats. I'm talking about him and X, who are the two most popular ones, right? I'm just talking about these two.
Mhm.
The way they
Hmm.
treat MLK has like some savior because he's safe, and the way they treat X is so different. I've been to the museum for Malcolm X in Omaha, Nebraska. Y'all, it's a one room like portable shed. It's a dump. It's
Mm.
nonprofit. There's like only one keeping it together is the community. Like it's nothing special. You could do the whole
Hmm.
thing in 20 minutes. Versus MLK is a whole day easily. I mean, it's
Mm.
it's it's pretty intense. And then
Well.
I remember going to African American Museum years ago. You couldn't find anything about X in that museum. It was so hard to find any reference of him.
Mm.
But MLK was everywhere. So it's just a way to make people feel better. And they pick the good parts. I always pick the good parts. I pick the bad parts that make him look bad.
Hmm.
And they never talk about how towards the end of his life he was more and more against the war. They don't talk about that because that's a no
Mm.
no.
Right.
So
Mhm.
it's fluff.
Yeah. So, oh man. So and this is why I wanted to talk about it. And I didn't want to say this before, but I'll say it now. It's hard for me to honor this day. And I get it. It's not his birthday. But they wanted to choose also February because it's the month of both MLK and Lincoln's birthday. So that's why, and the folks that did it, and I'm sorry I don't have all the information, but I did the research a few years ago, and it's like it was interesting how it all kind of came together. But what was interesting, going back to your points, Jay, about the two, and then Jay, when you were breaking that down, then starting with kind of like Ray, like it wasn't necessarily the best human being, right? We have other better examples, but unfortunately, they don't get the same honor or recognition. And I feel like when I was trying to find a name for this podcast is this to honor MLK or is this to honor civil rights? Like, what are we? What should we be? Because here's the question I'm going to ask. Yes, he is our, say, unsung designated hero in the Black community, but yet he was never able to see or get the things that, if you were to ask him, was he able to check those boxes, he's going to say no. So why are we, do you think we make it into a big deal, and why is this a day that's almost like, as if, like you said, it's Veterans Day, but we got to put it up there, but no, everyone's about going shopping or doing something not to honor it. So what does this day mean?
I don't know that it means anything. In Alabama and Mississippi, it's MLK Lee Day. If you're going to celebrate Robert E. Lee on the same day, what does it mean?
Yikes, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah. And that's still as of this year. And this is 2023, y'all. So maybe it'll change next year, but I doubt it. Um, so what does it mean? I mean, we brought
Well,
up Veterans Day, but let's talk about Memorial Day. People have barbecues on that day. That is not what that is about.
mm, yeah. hmm I
You
have
can
some
say
stuff to
most
say, but
holidays
go ahead, Jay.
are just off here. Well, you can say most holidays. You know, in MLK veterans. You know, we just got Juneteenth. What, like 2 years ago?
Mm,
Was it 2 years ago? We just got Juneteenth as a national holiday. And now, how many white people did you know in your group said, "What's Juneteenth?" They had no idea.
none.
Every black person knows Juneteenth.
hmm
Almost every black person I know, they celebrate Juneteenth like no other. Like that's real holiday to black folks, in my opinion. Growing up
Yeah.
in like Milwaukee, like they don't. That's the day right there. It's
hmm
interesting now because I was telling my parents in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they have this big Juneteenth party a couple of blocks from my grandma's house. Huge every year out. Past 2 years, it's a lot more white people all of a sudden.
Hmm.
Before that, like barely any, but now they're everywhere, which, it's fine, whatever. But it's just interesting now, like, oh, interested in Juneteenth. And I personally think that's one thing they can't whitewash that one. I don't think they're taking that one away. MLK Day is like, dude, it's a day off. Juneteenth is a day off. Again, most white people are like, oh, shoot, I got an extra day off. Sweet. Uh, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think MLK Day is same as Black History Month. Same thing. Whatever. Don't
hmm
care. Um, the way you honor our people, if you want to do that, this is a personal thing. I know this is like a whole the whole country, but if you really want to honor the people that you really want to honor, I think you do that through your actions and you passing it down. So I have 3 kids, interracial, but I make sure they know we are black. Like I
mm,
put, and they look black. So I try to explain things to them. Again, you also I always been a George Floyd because that we lived there at the time, and we were 20
mm.
minutes from when that happened.
Oh
So
snap.
was that 2 years ago? My kid was like 9 or 10.
Three.
Well, we had to explain that to him, because the stuff was getting burned down not too far away from us, and like most of them like going
Mm,
outside. I had friends who just like, I'm just gonna leave the city because
mm,
it was a wise thing to do, but we stayed put. And then I took my 2 daughters at the time to the site where he died.
mm,
Um, and it's hard to explain what was going on. It was a lot of people, and it was still shut down for, I don't know, like a couple of years. And but it took me to just try to explain to him, and they had where he died in like the little area. And the older kid, I think she was 10 times. She was upset. She was
mm,
crying. And when we told them, they were like, "Wait, what? They did what?" So if you want to, again, this is me trying to explain to them best we can. Like, there's no good way to explain how things happen. And I think year after that, the older kid's like, "Hey, why did MLK get shot if he did all these good things?"
mm-hmm,
Dude, there's no good way to answer that. There's no
mm-hmm,
good way to answer that.
mm-hmm,
You got to do the best you can. And it depends on the parent. It depends on what the racial parent. The answer is going to be very different.
mm,
9 times the same as a white parent, it's going to be very whitewashed answer. Oh, he did all these things. He was a speech, and he helped everybody. Not really. So my
Mm,
my my version would be a little bit, and I fumbled it. Like that's not something you get prepared for. Like I don't think it's
mm,
hard to ask those type of questions. So you do it the best you can. You do it the actions and what you teach them every day, but you just don't like stop. Oh, February. Oh, Black History. No, man, that's an ongoing thing if you're intentional about it.
mm-hmm.
The holidays are they're just days off. Um, that's just my truth. I was might feel different, but that's how I feel about most of this stuff. So
Okay.
It's,
Thank you, sir.
I mean, we talk about honoring. Almost every major city has an MLK, Boulevard, Drive, Avenue. I don't know. Insert ending to the street here. Have you ever seen a really nice one?
Mm, mm-mm. No.
Have you ever seen one
To
that's
answer
like
your
super
question,
the
clean?
no.
the, the one in Milwaukee is not good. Being in Milwaukee itself is not good, but it's nothing special. You wouldn't go in it if you had to. You probably avoid it.
Mm,
So this person who had a dream's legacy is
mm,
is what exactly? An Instagram
mm,
post? Some of the scariest places to go in a city? And a
mm,
really gorgeous statue in DC. I'm not going to lie, that statue is pretty impactful. It's stunning.
mm,
And a history lesson where those kids who are supposed to be together, quarter of the classrooms being singled out because of the color of their skin. So do better.
I will
Still.
say, yeah. But when I do see that, again as
mm,
smaller kids, so when I see my little kid hang out the little white kid, like it makes me happy because they have no idea, right, y'all? They're just kids.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
They,
mm-hmm,
I my preconceived bias is like, oh, that's so sweet. They're hanging out and doing different. They don't know. That's Julie and that's Bellamy. They're just playing.
mm-hmm,
And as they get older, things change through society, through parents. So that I have a dream speech does happen because
mm-hmm,
they're young, they don't know any better. But then life happens and things change, unfortunately. And it's all, and there's all this conversation about who's right and who's wrong depending on the whatever it's politics these days.
mm-hmm,
And I always say this is 100% factual. There's no such thing as right or wrong. It's
mm-hmm.
just your opinion based on your lived experiences. So what I'm saying now is my opinion based on my lived experiences. I'm not right or wrong. Neither is the other person. It's just people get so upset or get so pissed off if you don't like what they like or say what they want to say or anything. It's like, dude, it's just you gotta understand where people are coming from. Like we can complain all we want, but the reality is that's their life. And that's what they know, that's what they grew up with, it is what it is. So that's why I say, like, if you really want to do something, you worry about yourself. Don't worry about nobody else. You can't control it. Worry about your own. So the only thing you can control is what you can control.
Mm.
I can control these stupid posts that come out. So don't worry
Uh,
about me. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, no matter what. Uh, they're gonna do. You're gonna see it, and you're gonna see all the
yeah.
MLK sales, department store sales. You're gonna see it, and you'll
Mm-hmm.
see the ones. I haven't seen Juneteenth sales yet, but it's coming.
It's gonna come.
Sooner or later,
Oh,
it's gonna
Maybe,
come.
maybe
well,
not though. Well, hold on, let me. There's two things
Okay.
I was waiting for y'all to say, and Ray, you said it about I have a dream, and you said it earlier, but I didn't want to jump on it just yet. So two things, and I can make this really long, but I won't. So what really triggered me to say like, wow, in regards to I went to my first NFL game and I saw what they protested and what the players fought for of making sure that their causes are as front and center and they highlight Black folks, right, or highlight BIPOC folks. And what was really interesting, they showed videos and they showed other people, right? But what was interesting about these TV timeouts and these videos, there was no hype around it. Yet, when we talk about MLK and is I have a dream speech, right? That is not the American dream. the American dream is to have a house, a white picket fence with all these things, right? But it has nothing to do with MLK. I have a dream, and which is crazy. That came after Black Wall Street, after the bombings of Black Wall Street. When we had the true opportunity for the economic dream. Right now, it came down to the dream of, can we just be treated equally? It wasn't even now. And so for me, that's where I wanted to like jump to now, because people are saying like, well, MLK did this and we'll do like MLK, but MLK is like one of 1,000 different Black leaders, right? Especially when we look at the continent of Africa, it's like twice the size of America, right? And we all came from different countries of Africa and maybe the islands. Why do we have one person that we're celebrating and represent? It's being represented. And so, to bring it back to business, this is where I feel like if I wanted to say I have a dream and build a skyscraper, I that's not a dream. Somebody said that should be my dream. That's a dream for somebody else. If not, then please show me where there's like skyscrapers and there's businesses on Wall Street that are from the American dream from Martin Luther King. Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe if you build it in like maybe if you build it in like Roblox, you'll see it or something. But
like, it's just so disingenuous. It feels.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
But it's real. And I think that's the part where on the other side, I want everyone that's listening, if you're still listening, this is the realness of like why we didn't want to talk about it. All three of us are high energy people. All three of us are high energy people. But when you bring this up, this is like, oh, do you really want to talk about this? Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm bringing it back to retail and Juneteenth. My only fear is there has always been sales during the month of June, typically around that weekend, actually, that have happened prior to anybody celebrating Juneteenth. And I'm hoping that does not get like cross muddled, because that could get real ugly really quickly. And the only way you can do that right, and I'm just going to say this now, I know Jay said there's no right or wrong. I'm going to just like stand in my glory here and say the only way you can do that right is if you really amplify the Black owned products that you have in your store and nothing else. Have a nice
Target's
day.
already started doing that.
Target's so good at it. Nordstrom's good at it too.
They know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They go wherever they need to go to make money. Mm-hmm. Now there's a question like there's questions like, okay, should we applaud for that, or we're like, well, they're trying to make money, or at least they're doing it the right way, but that's a whole other conversation.
Well, they do pay them for their products. I will say that because I've helped clients with Target before, but and honestly, I'm not going to hate on it because now I can find hair care. Okay, it's not fun being mixed and having this hair. My hair has never looked better, so thank you, world, for supplying actual stuff.
Now wait, is your hair products locked up like Walmart or no?
Better than Walmart, actually. Target has a better selection.
You have to locked up behind glass.
Oh, no. It depends on what Walmart, and it depends on what Target and what area of town you are in.
Yes, it does.
It's true.
So mine, no. I'm very grateful for the place.
I would just love seeing going to Walmart again. This is like in the Black neighborhoods. All the Black products be locked up at Walmart. All of them. And, I saw a couple years ago, I think this is the George Floyd effect. They're like, we're not going to do that anymore. I still see some places doing it. So it's just, why isn't Suave locked up? or Head and Shoulders.
Because it's like
You
as good as
know,
floor
or you got pink
cleaner.
lotion locked up. Yeah, that's fair. But it's just interesting. But yeah, Target does.
Yeah.
Target promotes black folks, and the question is Target doing it just for because they want to help, or Target trying to make money?
So,
Just making
I
okay,
money.
don't know.
hold on. Now, hold on. So that's what I want to end with, and we're already at 30 minutes. That's what I
All
wanted to end with.
right, all right.
So, Jay is like, I'm so done with this show. So at least this episode. So with that, it is it? And here I'll go first because I don't want to like put y'all on the spot. I'm like, I need to answer this question first. Does this make it hard for you when you want to do business with certain companies because you're like you're only hiring me because I'm a token? Or and for me sometimes I have to ask myself questions and do the research to determine, are you hiring me because you need a black marketing agency to fulfill your numbers, or are you hiring me because I come with the right set of skills? So for me, I use these opportunities to look at what decisions have they made prior, and are they trying to make the right decisions? Because this is at the end of the day why I say it's gonna be a sliver of marketing, but also why it's business. Because I want to know whether or not I'm taking blood money here. Am I selling my soul? I don't want to. I ain't trying to sell my soul. So that's me when I evaluate whether or not I can move forward with the client. So Ray's like cringing over there.
I think
Who
that
wants to
you
go
should have asked
first?
this question 15 minutes ago, and this could be a whole Black History Month podcast. Um,
That's
you
next
may
month
answer
then.
the question first, sir.
Um, Personally, for me, for our freelancers, ever happen, but I worked at a few jobs. I was like, oh, I know you're hiring me. So I felt it in my heart, like I'm here because I'm black. I look around,
Mm,
it's like me, one other person, and I get a lot of attention. I feel like I hit quotas before, and
mm,
it on both sides. I worked for his SEO agency, and this is legit happened. I'm not even joking. Before me, there was a one black guy. He was gone. I came in one black guy. A whole agency. I was gone. Another black guy came in. Only black guy. It's just like they had that one person and they kept going through that line. But then I left to go to a school that was predominantly black. And I'm pretty
mm.
sure me being black helped out. But I tell you right now, I love that school so much. My favorite place I ever worked at because like it was just us having fun. I actually enjoyed going to work. Like I couldn't wait to get it because we had fun.
Right.
It was my, I got paid whopping 50K. I didn't care. I loved it so much. I was helping us and I was working with us. It was like the most perfect job.
Mm,
Then I wanted to make more money at a place that I was like, looked around. I'll make more money, but it's me and one other guy here. And I felt like they hit a quota. Is it
mm.
blood money? Or is it money to pay your bills? And they, you got to pay your bills. That's just my opinion. Again, come from my experiences. So Ray gonna shut me down here.
Uh,
I think there's
um,
been more pauses in this episode than ever before.
so I'm a very positive human being. A very positive human being. I'm very grateful for many things.
A disclaimer. A disclaimer.
A huge disclaimer. And part of me wants to shake Nathan for asking this question. So I went through an intense depression because I became everyone's token
Mm,
Black woman during 2020 after George Floyd. And I was asked all the time, how do you market to Black people? Which is so harmful. Jay's eyeballs right now. So harmful. And ask questions like, so with everything going on, do you just say no to your white side? Like I'm going to disrespect my mama like that. Um,
what? They said that?
so yeah, some really wild things. I'm
Uh,
also awkwardly having to say this in front of my child. Um, and all
mm,
right. Hi, Gray. Truth is the truth. So
mm.
it's It's hard for me, but that is why I've changed my process to be able to just tell people no up front. Just absolutely, I cannot, will not work for you. I've already sold my soul, lost my soul, and had to go find it again. So I'm not
Mm.
giving it up a second time. I refuse. I enjoy being a happy person. I'm staying in a place of happiness and gratitude. And so if you're only wanting to work with me, not because of my skill set and what I bring to the table, which is a ton,
Mm.
and I've had to work extra hard to get those skills because I've always had to be the youngest and the Black woman at the table. And that means I have to work twice as hard as everyone else, which means I am now twice as talented. So you don't just get me to check a box anymore. I will see through it so fast. I'll blink twice, smile at you, and then at the end of it, I'll say, gosh, I don't think we're going to be a great fit, but I have some resources that might be. Yeah.
Mm.
And that's code for about a quarter of you me saying, I'm not here to be your token lady anymore. I don't take tokens, I take hard cold cash. So the end.
See,
This.
I'm evil. I would charge them a certain amount of money,
You're
Give them
taxing
a
people.
basic. And you know what I do? And I give them some MLK posts. Like, oh, this is amazing. There you go. Bam. Take their money and go. Because they're like, oh my God, a Black person wants MLK post. We're so inclusive. You want to hire me next
Oh
time?
my
I'm going to triple
gosh.
my charge. I'm going to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Look, I'm evil. They evil, I'll be evil with them. I'll take their money and
Mm.
just give them garbage and they'll love it. So,
Mm.
that's me. Sorry. Actually, I'm not
Hey.
sorry. No, I'm not. That's just me.
Oh man. I will. Yeah. Yes. This is. So do here. Let me change the subject, but make it related so we can end on something that I'm like. Do you guys follow? Does anyone subscribe to Paramount?
I'm afraid to say yes right now.
No, we don't. No, she just quit it. Now she got it back for no reason.
Oh, she got it back,
Okay.
Gray.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, you,
Because he wanted to watch.
you're definitely.
Because we watched the on the note of Black History, everything. It was so we could watch the Oz, the Wiz.
I thought you meant the HBO show. I was like, he should not be watching that show. That's not the show he should be watching.
Oh. Jason loves Michael Jackson.
You know what Oz show I'm talking about? HBO, right? You know what I'm talking about? Whew.
Yeah, that's a not. Yeah,
Don't
that's
worry,
another,
it's not for
yeah,
him.
don't know. Yeah. So here,
I think we're at
here to
the
make.
age. Sorry.
Yeah, that's another eye. So the reason why I wanted to say it because I watched the first episode of Bass Reeves a few weeks ago. Bass Reeves, for those I don't know, is the person behind the story of the Lone Ranger. When I grew up, that's all I watched was the Lone Ranger, and I've had someone say like they couldn't watch it because without say like what you may watch in Roots, from the disciplinary stuff, let's just say, I won't go further, but there's some words, and in the words that someone's there was a scene that they a white black person were both looking at the stars. They were like, oh, when you get to heaven, and the black, which was a slave, which was Bass Reeves, was like, oh, I can't wait to get up there. And he's like, black people ain't going to heaven. You guys don't go to heaven. You go to the dark area. You looking at the wrong. And it was just in that, just the cruelty of why did all this matter? And for once, I do believe they are trying to tell stories that are a bit more accurate and tell the true stories of heroes that should be heroes, even in their like even though MLK did a lot, right? There was still some bad stuff. Like I'm not gonna go into it, but there's some stuff that's like, really, just like Malcolm X. It's like he did some good stuff, but and they're happy to say the bad stuff, but they ain't gonna say all the good stuff that he did too. So all that being said, I think there is an opportunity for all of us to do what's right, and an opportunity for all of us to stand for what's right, and it's an opportunity for all of us to share. But in this, we came to you vulnerable, we are transparent, and we're keeping it real, which is why when we talk about marketing, when we have these perspectives and we say what we say, it is also out of trauma because we've been told some nasty things to us, and yet we are still here. So I want to thank Ray and Jay for both talking about a topic that wasn't number one on the list of things to talk about. And I appreciate you all for that. Here are roses to each of y'all. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, y'all, obviously there's stuff will be in the show notes. I think it's time for me just to end the show, and I wish y'all nothing but the best. So until next time, dream big and Godspeed. We out this month.
Goodbye.